Welcome, slot car fans. We've got a little unboxing going on here that it's really exciting to me. Hope you guys will enjoy it also. This is basically the next step towards performance on the larger scale slot cars. And you know, everybody kind of does this stuff at their own pace, and they realize what parts they need next and they buy those parts. Well, my goal has been to try to equalize the performance between the cars so that when anybody comes over to race, they can just pick a car and they'll all be very similar to each other. And I feel, oh no, packing peanuts, crap. Alright, well, we'll pull out the peanuts and throw them into a trash can here. Well, what is this? We got some little parts here, kind of interesting looking. Aha! You can probably tell what it is by now. Well, I'm just going to pull it on out of there. Make sure there's nothing else in the box. So, what we've got here is a tire truer. This particular one is the MSR brand. I don't have any association with this brand, but I looked at the pictures of it and thought it looked like it was pretty well made, and it looked very similar to a different brand that I had been using at the slot car track. I think this is going to be the last and final big expense that I'm going to have to spend in order to make these cars equalize themselves. Oh, okay. So far, I am not impressed with a couple things about this, just looking at it right off the bat. The little spot that you have to true the tires on is not as big as it is on the other brand that I used before by the German company. This just gives you a couple little strips of, you know, right down the middle, a couple little strips of your abrasive material right down the middle, which isn't going to be quite as easy to swap out, I think, as the larger sanding pads that the other brand uses. But the interesting thing here is it's actually a two-sided pad. Okay, I see why they've done this. They've got a little bit of a lowered section in here, so all you have to do is flip this over in order to go from the rough abrasive material to the very fine abrasive material. So that's interesting. So I guess there's an advantage to the other system that I've used, and also a disadvantage because it's just not a very large area, and that looks a little bit more difficult to replace. I do like how we've got separate sides here to adjust the tension on each wheel, and the fact that we've got a built-in power supply, so I don't have to run a separate power supply. So anyway, I feel like this is going to be the, you know, like I mentioned earlier, kind of the last big expense that I'm going to have to go for right now as far as trying to equalize the performance of these cars. And I'm going to start taking the, you know, the worst performing car and truing its tires and doing the other, you know, little tuning tricks to it and try to make it run as good as the very best one, and we'll see what happens. I think you guys are going to enjoy the I think it's going to be kind of a learning experience for all of us, and you know, be able to prove some of the things where the, you know, the big time guys are all saying true your tires, true your tires, true your tires. Well, sure. Do you want to spend $200 on a tire truer? That doesn't sound very smart to me in a lot of instances. Well, I've got a sneaky suspicion it's more smart than we thought it was. Thanks for watching.